Hello there and welcome to another live chapter reading for Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Today I shall be reading from Master Calabrea, Masters of the Consulate, Book 6 by Sylvia Black. Chapter 1. I walk into the Discalia, one of the busiest clubs in the most southern tip of Italy, tugging on the ends of the crisp white sleeves beneath my black suit coat. The greeter gives me a nod of recognition. I weave in and among the humans and vampires alike, any of whom could be part of the well-orchestrated queue intended to bring the vampires to our knees. The same fuckers who will pay the ultimate price when we find the rogue shifters who have evaded us until now, along with their traitorous leader, Isala. The lounge is pulsing with a throbbing, seductive music. The music is almost too loud to even hear myself think. It doesn't seem to bother the couples conversing at the tables, the couples making out on the couches to the rear of the room, or the ladies gently swaying on stage one little bit. Even under the dim lights, it's not hard to spot our warriors strategically posted around the perimeter of the club. We may have assimilated over the years, but that doesn't mean everyone approves of the vampires living among them, and the warriors are ready to intervene at the slightest hint of trouble. It seems there's always some type of discord when all the factions mingle. The bartender, who I've known for centuries, gives me a nod as I take a seat in front of the long black marble bar, Discalia Red. He brings a bottle of the imported blood wine mixture from below and pours me a healthy glass. Master Calabrea of Master Discalia asked me to let you know that he may be running a few minutes late for his meeting with you this evening, sir. I swallow down half the drink in one long swallow, letting the mixture of blood and wine take the edge off the storm swirling in my mind. Thanks for letting me know, I tell him, settling in at the bar to wait. The feel of war is heavy in the air. My thoughts swirl with all the trouble rogue vampires have brought to our doorstep century after century. They're smarter than we gave them credit for, and their hatred of our leader and the community has built fuels their determination to send us back to the Dark Ages. Even after days of scouring the countryside, we're no closer to finding them or Isala. If given half a chance, the combined forces will destroy the reputation and respectability Overmaster Discalia has built for the vampires in this day and age, and much more. They will do everything they can to discredit us, take our power, and then revert to snacking on humans when they're least expecting it. Then and only then will the villainous rogues ever quiet their thirst for revenge. A hand taps my shoulder and pulls me from my reverie. Calabrea, thanks for meeting me. I know you have much to do, but it's prudent that I speak to you in private before the others join us this evening. Should we have a seat? I could use a drink, Overmaster Discalia asks. We get to the table where a reserve sign is always present for our leader, the owner of Discalia resorts and clubs all around the globe, and Overmaster to all 12 of the Consulate Masters, each responsible for a region of the globe whose vampire history is entrenched the most. A dancer with long creamy legs, a burgundy and silver pair of skimpy panties and nothing else on graces the stage and begins to sway to the sound of the seductive and rhythmic beat as we take our seats, slithering closer to give me a smile while her fangs hang seductively over the bottom of her lower lip. The females see our suits and sense authority and power in the room, and this one is the worst. A server appears and pulls my attention back to the table. Overmaster orders a Discalia Red. I place a hand over my glass, which is still almost full. Thank you, though, I tell the young woman, who flashes me a bright smile before she hurries back to the bar. Overmaster Discalia clears his throat. He's not a man of many words and doesn't usually waste them, and doesn't do it now. There are a few things you should know before we bring the others up to speed on the logistics of finding Isala. He scans the bar, taking in the 4 warriors who I spotted when entering the top floor of the club. We haven't told many, but Dragos wasn't the only one who defected from the warriors and went to work with Isala. I'm intentionally keeping things quiet for now, hoping to flush any remaining traitors out of the woodwork. Since we can't use them in the capacity we're used to, I brought in a special operations team. It's critical you be prepared to work with them and also understand why the secrecy around the team. I see. The server brings his drink. Overmaster Discalia tastes it, still observing me. And you're not sure how you feel about making that decision without the masters being fully appraised. It's not that I don't trust you, because I do, but something about the secrecy rankles being one of the masters who isn't getting the same level of information that we're used to as of late. The entire purpose of the Consulate is to deal with and make decisions that impact us all. Why else bring 12 different vampire masters together, rulers of the regions where the richest and richest of vampires' history comes from? He nods. I don't disagree. I'm the one who set the Consulate up to create checks and balances in the decision-making, to ensure that we were always focused on the greater good of the vampire community. Yet now I decide what the Masters know and what they don't. He gives me time to respond, just keeps talking. It's okay, Calabrea. It's nothing I haven't thought about long and hard or haven't discussed at length with Luciana and Lucas. It hurts me not to be able to share this with all the Masters. The entire structure we created for the vampire community depends on each of the global regions providing input to guide the group as a whole. I believe in the structure wholeheartedly. That's why I kept myself as master of my region instead of putting someone else in charge, keeping 12 instead of 13. I nod, taking a drink of the mixture that is blended to perfection, but doesn't feel like quite enough tonight. I realise the secrecy goes against the strategy laid out and which we live by, but as Overmaster, it's also my responsibility to look 10 steps into the future and intercept anything that could harm us. We need to remove the traitors that have gotten into the folds of the warriors before we can open up communication the way we once had it. A waitress stops in to check on our drinks and both of us decline another. That's why you brought in the special ops team. They have the combat skills we need? I ask after she moves on. Overmaster Discalia takes a long pull of his drink and sets the glass down with a thud, lowering his voice even further as a young couple with their arms wrapped around each other pass by our table. Yes, they've been hand-selected for their skill sets and sworn to secrecy by me. Darius can hack into or build systems comparable to those used by the FBI. My eyebrows raise in admiration. Now that's a skill that I don't think we have, even with the warriors. Sweet. Troy and Marcus have been focused on tracking and travel paths to this point. I don't want one place the rogues have stopped and sought help, refuge or curried favour to go unchecked. We may not have time to deal with all the traitors now, but mark my words, we will come back for them. And when we do, they will pay the ultimate price for their betrayal to the vampires. I understand you told Isala you have a source near this area, one from the special ops team. Overmaster Discalia nods. Yes. However, Luciana, I believe it's a trap. Isala wanted them to find her, or she wouldn't have been found that easy, even with their skills. I want you to tread carefully, Calabrea. You may know the community here, but remember this woman has managed to live under my roof and maintain a credible facade of being devoted to the vampire community for a very long time. All while quietly convincing many of the young wolves and witches in the underworld to join her fight against us. Isala has become a formidable opponent indeed. I plan to check in with the lords in the area, have their vampires cast a wide net over the entire region. She can't hide from all of the Calabrea region, I tell him. Discalia nods, his black eyes turning red around the rims. Perhaps not, but Sylvia, who will also join you, has powers of sight that were previously untapped until he started working with us. He's been mentoring with Luciana and was able to help find the missing woman the rogues took to make it look like the vampires were snatching women off the streets a while back. He will be of great assistance to you and your teams. Are we getting blowback from the humans for the missing woman? I ask. So far we've been able to alleviate any concerns by getting in front of it and leading the charge to rescue them. They've all been returned home and the rogues seem to be focused on other things now. I want you to take Sylvia and a couple of others with you on this assignment though. His special powers will help you and us all. Overmaster Discalia may think that everything in his life is a secret, but I've heard a few whispered rumours about the special powers not only of this Sylvia, but also of Discalia's mate, who does much but talks little. We Masters converse among ourselves before and after the Consulate meetings, whether he knows it or not. Who are the others? I asked, talking to him, but shifting my eyes on a vampiress in a slinky red dress who is eye-fucking me from where she hovers near the next table. The scent of her arousal wafts heavy in the air, her heart beats fast, and her fangs descend over the top of her bottom lip before the tip of her tongue touches them. Only if there were time, sweetheart, but tonight there are far too many things to do besides feasting on the lovely vampiress, who isn't in the least bit trying to play coy. She, just like the others, knows exactly who I am, and the power that being my mate would hold. I may take them to bed, but I'm not about to step into a trap like that twice in a lifetime. There's no time for even a passing hookup right now. The next couple of days will be filled with laying down the plans to find and capture the elusive Isala before a war the likes of no one has ever seen breaks out between the factions of the underworld. Overmaster Discalia notices a female hovering and scowls. She doesn't need anything other than that to take the hint and flee back to the bar area, where she immediately sparks up an intimate-looking conversation with her next target. He returns us both to the work at hand. Clay and Terence will come with you too. Sylvia will help you in ways you wouldn't imagine, but you can depend on Clay and Terence to fight by your side. We brought them into the Special Forces because of their formidable combat skills. They will help fill the void of the warriors we can't engage at this time. I clear my throat. What I have to say needs to be said. It seems to me that if the warriors were the only ones you were worried about, the two of us wouldn't be having this conversation in a bar, which at our headquarters in Rome with 10 more of our brothers around us. Overmaster Discalia doesn't say a word, just observes me closely. I can hear the speed of his chest pumping, just slightly harder, and the blood throwing through his veins. You think there's a traitor among us too? I ask. After centuries he should know that I mean him no disrespect, but still, he's not used to being questioned, nor am I used to being used as a pawn. His jaw tightens and the red around his eyes tinge. I certainly hope not, but given the situation, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm just not willing to take the bet that bet with everything else at stake. Until I know for certain, I'll keep things close to the vest and ask you to share with no one but me. I nod, recalling how centuries ago one of his own most trusted employees turned traitor and caused the death of Overmaster Discalia's mate, a brother vampire who died a savage and unrelentless death by Discalia's own brutal hands. He turns the crystal glass on top of the table, and the last of the red wine blend swirls in the bottom before focusing his eyes on me. You'll have full authority on this mission, but the goal is to get Isala and take her alive. Roman is going to be with us, but his focus is going to be on finding out which of the syndicate elders is in on the coup to overthrow the vampires. He believes they were at least in part responsible for the death of his brothers and nearly the death of his sister. And we don't. On the contrary, I want that information too, but not at the cost of letting Isala slip through our fingers again. The priority is Isala, whether Roman likes it or not. Use his determination to discern any information we need, but let him deal with his kind. Is that clear? Crystal, it actually makes me feel much more reassured about the mission at hand. Overmaster Discalia nods. Good. Then he leans in closer. I don't want Luciana to know I've asked you to bring Isala to me alive. She will think that I'm doing out of a favour to her. She would not want the vampire community to think I'm sparing her sister's life because of her. My brows knit because that's exactly how it looks sitting from my chair. Then why, if I might ask? Discalia nods and sits back, adjusting a silver and diamond cufflink beneath his dark suit. Get in, get her out, and into our hands alive. If we find those at the top, all the better, but don't focus on it. Focus on Isala, he says, which doesn't answer my question at all. Luciana walks through the door of the club. And do it without Luciana knowing? His eyebrows knit almost with indecision. If that's possible, then yes. If not, I'll need to deal with it myself. He turns towards the door as his mate, the one with the glowing crystalline green eyes, walks towards us, as he's sure as he knows our secret, and has one of her very own. I hope you enjoyed this chapter reading and that you'll go check out the book. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.